Episode 139, W.B. Yeats and Should All Irish Folks Like Poetry? Yes or No? I am Rod Murphy. This is Growing Up Poor in Irish Boston, a series of my 1950s era Irish Boston songs, history, jokes, and stories. I think I am expected to like poetry because I am 100% Hibernian. But like many other mix, I really don't understand the idea of poetry. My Blessed Sacrament Grammar School nuns liked poetry and tried to teach it. I remember in the fourth grade learning to memorize and read aloud the Joyce Kilmer poem, Trees. Kilmer was an Irish-American lad and a veteran of World War One. I kind of liked his poem, but never understood the reasons for poetry. Poetry seemed to me to be pompous and an only us smart guys get it kind of contest. There was also what I considered a feminine sense about it, weak, maybe faggoty, and not for us alpha males, I thought. But my father liked poetry and sometimes recited it to us, and he was manly and far from weak. So I was always puzzled about poetry. There is also a real nerdiness about poetry with its iambic, pentameter, and hexameter jargon. Years later, and writing a lot more, I began to examine the structures of books that I read. I noticed that some writers provide much more clarity in their sentences. That clarity gave better understanding to the reader. Those writers use word devices, figures of speech, etc. I learned from those writers and developed a better appreciation of the flow of words in sentences. That in turn led me to appreciate poetry more, although I am still a clod. There is another facet about poetry, and that is it provides inspiration. Some well-known people tell us that. South Africa's Nelson Mandela survived years in a terrible prison by being inspired by the poem Invictus by Ernest Henley. Einstein, Gandhi, and Carl Sagan talked about being inspired by particular poems. President Ronald Reagan often quoted this, quote, "Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter's silvered wings," unquote. This poem was written by John Gillespie McGee, a World War II Canadian Air Force fighter pilot. The land of saints and scholars, Ireland, is known for its wonderful people with their many virtues and abilities. The gift of gab, joyful living, hospitality, humor, tenacity, and generosity would often be mentioned. But the love of language is most often listed as an Irish trait, and poetry is the most bragged about Irish quality. Seamus Heaney, Oscar Wilde, Catherine Tynan, James Joyce, Alice Kinsella, and Evan Boland are a few of Ireland's poets. But the acknowledged champion is William Butler Yeats of Dublin, London, and County Sligo. He was born into a higher class family in 1865 and died in 1939. Perhaps no other poet represented a people in a country, in this case Ireland, as poignantly as Yeats. During his life, up until today, his poetry is widely read across the English-speaking world. He was unique, and his poems used the fewest words possible to achieve his ideas. That literary device is called mot juste. The Innisfree poem was inspired to Yeats as he passed a London store window promotion with a flowing water device that brought back memories of Yeats' youth in County Sligo's Lake Isle of Innisfree, and thus this poem. I ask for your tolerance as this clod tries to read aloud this poet master's poems. The Lake Isle of Innisfree by William Butler Yeats. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evenings full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with the low sounds by the shore, while I stand on the roadway or on pavements gray. I hear it in the deep heart's core. I will try another one now. This one, a love poem where Yeats talks to and remembers a much-loved woman from his past. When You Are Old by William Butler Yeats. When you are old and gray and full of sleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace and loved your beauty with love false or true? But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and loved the sorrows of your changing face, and bending down the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly, how love fled, and paced upon the mountains overhead, and hid his face amid the crowd of stars. I am becoming a fan of poetry, especially of William Butler Yeats, but I will not make you endure my readings further. But there are 3 other Yeats poems that I like: The Second Coming, Down by the Sally Gardens, and The Lamentations of the Old Pensioner. And by the way, I have found a connection between W.B. Yeats and Rod Murphy. It is the year 1939. I was born and he died in that same year. He before me. Does anyone believe in reincarnation? This is Rod Murphy. Thank you for viewing or listening to my YouTube and podcast episodes. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed them, please hit the subscribe button. Does not cost you anything, and it helps me to grow my audience. Again, my thanks.